guys, welcome to episode 3 of Meaningful Manis. If you are new here, Meaningful Manis is the name of my awareness series that I do every month for a different disease, illness. So if you have one in mind that you would like me to do a mani for and do a whole video talking about whatever topic you would like, you can shoot me an email to JEWLZ20@gmail.com. I will leave the email down below. So I am going all out for this mani. It is February 5th today, Friday, and it is Wear Red for American Heart Association. I think they're the ones that started the whole Wear Red Day, but obviously it is Heart Awareness Month. And I'm going to do full marble on all of my nails. Marble is really my favorite nail technique. I'm not going to talk too much about what I'm doing. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or make a post in my Facebook group. I have links to all of my socials down below. And I will leave links and everything to what I'm using in the description box as well. I am using dip liquids from Kiara Sky for the very first time in this video. And I must say, I kind of love them. I was surprised. I'm going to actually hold up the bottles so that you can see in a second. I hold up the Kiara Sky one next to my current favorite dip liquid, which is the Model 1, so that you guys can see the difference in the wiper insert, because I was shocked. And they may actually be good liquids for someone who suffers with dip flu, because when I tell you I could not smell anything, I could not smell anything. None whatsoever. And usually even with my Model 1s, like, they're low odor, but I can still smell them a little bit, not enough to where they bother me. These were like nothing. So I don't usually talk about what I'm using, but since it was my first time using these, I did just want to talk about it just for a second. So after I'm done showing you the comparisons of the bottles, I will get into my mani, my meaningful mani, and the story behind it. The Kiara Sky, the wiper insert, I've never seen one that stinking small before. It did make it a little bit difficult to get the brush in and out, but I did not have excess liquid on this brush whatsoever. It really hugs the brush when you're pulling it out and makes it to where you are not getting a lot of liquid on your brush whatsoever. And I think with the opening being that small helps to reduce on the fumes that come out. And I did get these off Amazon. I got all 4 of them. It came with the Bond Base Activator and Dip Top Coat. It was like 36 bucks, so it actually wasn't bad at all. So I will leave links to that down below for you guys. And a couple weeks ago, I asked on my Facebook group, as well as in one of my previous YouTube videos and on Instagram, for you guys to send in any heart stories that you guys have. And I'm so glad that a couple of you actually sent me some heart stories of your own, because even though my husband, he had heart disease, and that was one of the complications from his diabetes, and he had 2 heart attacks. I don't really want to talk about it, because we are, as of right now, as you're watching this video, 5 days away from his 1-year anniversary of passing away. So I don't want to talk about it because I will get way too emotional. So I'm going to hop into the couple stories that some of you guys were so kind to send over to me. Actually, before I hop into the stories, I did this during my blood donor awareness video, and I wanted to do it again for this one. I think whenever I can find the info, I'm going to do the math and I'm going to do this, because I think it really puts it into perspective. But according to American Heart Association, their website, every 36 seconds, someone in the US passes away from heart disease. So my video is 24 minutes and 40 seconds long, 46 seconds long. So that breaks down to about 41 people. So by the time this video is over, and if you've watched the whole thing, 41 people will no longer be with us. So just let that sink in for a second. So my first story is from I'm Gonna Nail It, is her name that she uses on YouTube. And she says, I have a little heart awareness story with a happy ending for you. My sister started having issues in her early 40s where her heart would start racing for no apparent reason. It prevented her from riding roller coasters because if she would ride one, she was sure to have an AFib episode and then wouldn't be able to drive her and her son home from Disneyland. It was almost always just the two of them because her husband passed away when their son was only 2. So her having heart issues was extremely scary, especially for the sake of her son who really needed her. Finally, in her late 40s, she was able to get an atrial ablation. It was an outpatient surgery, but we were all so nervous. Thank the Lord she had a super quick and easy recovery and hasn't had a single AFib episode since. And it's been about 6 to 7 years now, and she can ride all the roller coasters she wants. That's amazing. I love hearing stories like that actually have a happy ending, but I'm so sorry for your loss. Her husband passing away and her son being so young. I can't even imagine. My son was 12. I can't imagine going through that at the age of 2. But I'm so glad and thankful that your sister is okay, and I'm thankful that you wanted to share that with all of us. My next story is from Nancy. You may know her already from Instagram as dreamrider_dips, and this story is about her husband, and this happened pretty recently, I'd say a couple of months ago. And she says, we were at Disney and he was not feeling great, but he thought it was just his allergies. But his Apple Watch told him he had AFib. We got home and he still wasn't feeling great, and his watch alerted him a couple more times. He was also having tightness in his chest and not breathing well. So we decided to take him to the hospital, where they kept him for several days trying to get it in normal rhythm again. Since then, they gave him medication to take when it happens, but the last episode he had lasted almost 24 hours. So they put him on his medication twice a day. But basically, if not for the watch, he may not be here, or he could have had a stroke. So now we all have the most up-to-date Apple Watches. Nancy is actually one of my really good nail friends. She is in a Facebook chat with me and a bunch of all of our other nail friends, and we talk daily, all day long. We will hop on Facebook chats a lot. I feel like I talk to my nail friends more than I talk to people that I have known my whole entire life. But I remember when this happened because we were all messaging back and forth, trying to keep her mind kind of occupied and trying to keep her positive, because you got to think all this happened during COVID, and she had to just drop her husband off at the hospital knowing he was having some kind of heart issue. She wasn't allowed in the hospital, so she was just going off of, updates that she would get from her husband. And I can only imagine how terrifying that is, because when my husband went through everything he went through, it was at the very beginning. I want to say it was literally right before COVID started being talked about on the news and what it is now. My husband went into the hospital the end of January. He passed February 10th, so I was lucky that I was able to be there with him in the hospital and see him every day. But even that was terrifying because you never know. So I can't imagine being one of those ones that has to just drop my loved one off at the hospital and just wait by a phone. She wasn't able to see him. I mean, she could talk to him on the phone, but that was it. And it was days that she had to just sit by the phone and wait until she could pick him up. Her story is also why I got me and Gabe Apple Watches. Well, my niece got Gabe his Apple Watch for Christmas, but I got one too because if it wasn't for his Apple Watch alerting him, he probably would have just continued to think that it was allergies or anxiety or stress. So it's amazing, and I am so thankful that he already had a watch that was alerting him because, like she said, he thought it was allergies. And we honestly all know how some guys can be. My husband was definitely one of them. They don't really like to listen to their bodies so much, and they definitely, the last thing they want to do is go to a doctor. I'm not sure if Ed is exactly like that, but I know a lot of guys in my family, the last thing they want to do is go to a doctor. Most of them will be like, oh, whatever it is going on, it'll pass. So I'm so glad that he had that Apple Watch to save his life. So me and Gabe have recently gotten Apple Watches. The way technology is now is incredible. I know not all of it is good, but the Apple Watches that we have, you can actually press a button on there and it'll do a full almost EKG, which is absolutely amazing. So those are the couple of stories that I got in from you guys. So to this mani, I've done my 2 layers of my marble, and instead of capping in clear, I'm going to cap in this color, which is from iGel, called Heaven Scent. It's almost like Rebels Erica, but it has a little bit more of a, I'm going to say a little bit more of like a French pink tone to it. And I'm capping in this just because I wanted to try to mute the red just a little bit, because I'm going to do a little bit of, well, I'm going to do designs on all of them because I went all out for this mani. I love every single mani I do. I put everything into every single mani, but my awareness series, I kind of put a little bit more into them because they mean a lot more to me. So I am going to let you guys watch for a little bit. I am not done talking about heart health by any means, but I'm going to let you guys watch. I'm going to finish up my encapsulation in this layer. I had no issues with filing or buffing. I didn't file off any color whatsoever. So I'm going to let you guys watch, and I'll be back with you in a bit. So I've just finished up my 2 coats of activator. I am going to file and buff off camera, and I'm going to go ahead and apply a thin coat of gel base coat to all of my nails. I am using my gel base coat from Double Dip. Again, I will leave everything linked down below. I did do a little stamping on my index finger, and I don't know what was going on with my phone when I filmed it, but for some reason it cut off right before I went to stamp it onto my nail, and I did not realize it. So I am going to show my stamping plate. I am using my plate from Uber Chic, which I'm probably going to end up using in all of my awareness videos for all of my meaningful manis. It is such a great plate. It just has ribbons and a bunch of positive words and stuff like that. So I will leave the plate linked down below, but I did want to include what my phone actually did record, and that was it. So I went ahead and I did the ribbon in red because that is the color for heart awareness, obviously. And then I did half of a heart, and now I'm going to freehand some kind of heartbeat lines, and I did do these on all of my nails, but I'm only going to show one. So I just wanted to mention that really quick before I get back into some heart facts. Now I want to talk about heart attacks for a couple of minutes. So the top 5 causes of heart disease and heart attack. First one is high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, arrhythmias, and CHF, which is congestive heart failure. My husband was diabetic, as I'm sure you all know by now, and the thing about diabetics is a lot of them are prone to what is called a silent heart attack. And 1 in 5 will get a silent heart attack. And if it wasn't for my husband requiring a bypass on his leg for a blood clot in his leg, he got those literally like once a year. He probably would have never known that he had even had his first heart attack. It wasn't until he went through kind of the pre-testing for his bypass surgery, and that's when they found that he kind of had some abnormal readings on his EKG, and they sent him to a cardiologist, and he ended up having to have a triple bypass. One of his arteries was 100% blocked. The other 2 were in the 90s, and he had no idea that was even going on. Like, he felt fine. After he was told, that he had a silent heart attack, he kind of thought back and kind of pinpointed when he thought it happened, which was at a Metallica concert before I had even met him. He just said he remembered feeling a little bit of tightness in his chest, but it wasn't bad and it kind of went right away. But it's crazy that some people have heart attacks and don't feel them. They don't feel any different. It doesn't affect them. But it can, in the long run, end up killing them. My husband probably, if it wasn't for that bypass on his leg, who knows what would have happened to him at that time. And that happened when me and him first got together, and I was not with him when he went to the Metallica concert. So he was walking around for, I'd say, a good 10 months with these blockages in his heart that he didn't even know about. So definitely make sure that you and all of your loved ones are going to the doctors regularly, yearly, like you are supposed to. If you have any kind of heart issues that run in your family, make sure you just do preventative care and do what you need to do to take care of your heart and be good to your heart. I'm going to leave a link to American Heart Association, their website, down below in the description. So if you want to check out their website, if you are able to, make a donation. It is so, so important that these organizations continue to get funding so that they can help find cures and treatments for these illnesses and diseases. I apologize if you hear my puppy snoring in the background. She is on my lap snoring. So for this mani, I wanted to use the dip top coat that came in, you know, the set of liquids that I got, but I'm scared to do, you know, the whole activator and dip top over designs. I know some people have done it, but they usually use like the smudge free top coat from Maniology first. I don't have that. So I did have the gel top coat from Kiara Sky from the Jelly Tips kit that I used a while back. So I top coated with that. The shine was pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of the brush just because I like a little bit more of a stiffer brush. As you can see, it's like a curved brush, which is nice because I like that it gets right at your cuticle really nicely. It just fans out a little bit more for me. It's a really loose brush. I really do like a stiffer brush. I feel like I have more control over it. But the next mani that I do, that is just a full dip mani, no designs or anything like that, I'm going to try out the dip top coat from Kiara Sky because I actually really do like the base. I wish there was a way I could funnel some other liquid into that base when it gets empty, because that is legit my favorite dip base bottle that I have. So I just went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. I applied my cuticle oil, and that is my finished mani. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.